He served in the Army Air Force. His rank was Staff Sergeant, and he served from Australia to New Guinea to Luzon, Manila, and several other places we'll talk about.
Yep.
Okay, let's start with. Did you say you were drafted or enlisted?
I was drafted.
Okay.
I was a drafting.
In other words, you got a letter in the mail, welcome.
It's there.
Okay.
Yep.
And that was in what? Was that October of 40?
Yes.
Or 41? October 41.
41.
Right. Talk a little bit now about the beginning when you go into service. What were you trained for? Where did you go? Up until the outbreak of World War II, just prior to it, leading up to it.
Well, I left Stratford Railroad Station, and that took us to Boston, Fort Devens, to Hartford. That's where we got our physical. After we got our physical, we were put on a train from Hartford. We were taken up to Fort Devens, Mass. Oh, we were up there for maybe 3-4 days. Get a few clothes issued, and just about nothing there. And maybe a week later, we were called out in front of the barracks, hundreds of us. And as our name was read off, they told us where we were headed, what branch of the Army we would go to. And being so lucky, I was called into the Air Corps and went up to Dow Field in Bangor, Maine. Up to Bangor Field, most of the time up there was spent getting injections, which some of them kept you in bed. And otherwise, you go out and you march, you do some close order drills, get some calisthenics, don't do much else. And my training, never held a rifle in my life, never did up there either. And one day told us we got to go and qualify to handle a gun. We were taken to a job that they call prisoner chasers. That was taken the fellows that were in the Army, but maybe they did something minor. They kept them in stockade, you call it. And when you had to take them to mess hall, you had to march them. That's where your guard duties where the rifle was. You take these prisoners, you call them prisoners, and take them to the mess hall, and they tell you, if one gets away, you serve his time. All right, to qualify, take you to this, it was a high sandbank, I'd call it. You couldn't miss it, maybe 30 feet high. They said, all right, they put the gun on our shoulder, hold the trigger. They say, all right, hit that mountain they call it. Squeeze, boom, qualified. Qualified marksman. I hit the only time I fired a gun in the service. Never had a gun till then. Or after that. Well, then we got the bad news a couple of months later. I believe it was on a Sunday, December 7th. That Pearl Harbor was bombed. That we will prepare for war. So, well, you just run around. You're doing nothing because what are they going to do? They don't know what they're doing themselves. So after a week, 2 weeks, we start packing all this stuff, your gear and what the Army wants you to pack for them and whatever. And they marked New York. New York. Figuring, well, we're going to New York. Word got around that we're going on to Normandy. Well, Normandy. All of a sudden, they said orders had changed, maybe a week later, not even a week. Orders had changed, you're going to Boston, Massachusetts. You will board your ship there because the Normandy was sabotaged. That was our change. So, got to Boston, boarded the Queen Mary with supposed to be, I believe, 10,000, right? Not like I said 100,000. 10,000 troops. We were part of the 10,000. So we got on the ship, and the following morning we pulled out, and the Atlantic, they tell us, is full of German subs. Well, we were going, we didn't know what direction the hell we were going in. So find out, one of my buddies, the guy I'm talking about, they put a white thing on him. He could go anywhere he wants. He come back, he says, Kip, we're going south. But we're going south, that don't tell me nothing, George. Sure the hell we pulled into Florida. Well, we're in Florida 2-3 days because they had to fuel up and they had to change some kind of big screw on the ship. And we left at night. We crossed the Atlantic. And with the Atlantic we had no escorts. And my informant told me we were going zigzag because he don't know why. And we finally found out that we were too fast for an escort, so we were zigzagging. And finally we crossed, I don't know, I'd be a liar if I told you exact days, but we pulled outside of Rio de Janeiro, not for a vacation. Picked up a few men, a few supplies, fueled up. And 3 days we were scheduled to leave. We left 2.5 days, half a day early. We pulled out. We were going a couple of hours and they says, the spot we were in Rio, a ship pulled in there and that ship was sunk. They thought it was the Queen Mary. And we pulled out a half a day ahead. Now we're heading, we don't know where. So we left Rio, we're going, who the hell knows where we're going. We stopped and sure in hell there was this gray looking horizon and dullest looking country in my life. Cape Town, South Africa. So there, same thing, fuel up, food up, get a few passengers. This time it was, I don't know, some big wheel from the government and somebody else.
Were you getting off ship when
No, nobody off ship. No, you're on ship. And I should have sent in Rio, 3 of them dove overboard. They went out. So apparently they had to leave without them, till they found them. But no, it was on ship. Nowhere did you get off. So Cape Town, same thing. Fuel up, get some passengers and pull out. Then I asked my buddy again, where we going, George? He said, we're going to cross the Indian Ocean somewhere. So we're going along, and I guess it's days, and it's a long ride. No escort, too fast. Oh, we're going. Then he says, you know where we're heading? He says, I think I heard him say we're going to Australia. I said, George, that's a long way across the whole Indian Ocean. We had all them days, we spent up so far, 3 days, then traveling 3 days. Oh, sure in hell, we going out, and we came into what they call the Australian Bight, a part of the ocean, of the Indian Ocean, which is supposed to be the roughest seas in the world. And I happened to be lucky. I was on KP, on the Queen Mary. My second week. First week was my duty. Second week, I got gigged. I didn't shave aboard ship, personal inspection. I didn't shave one day. I got another day KP. And across the Indian Ocean, way down in the Bight, the ship started to sway. And down where we were working, the big garbage cans started to swing. Everything's going off the tables. After we find out that the ship was close to going over. Bob will find it in my report. The report says from the ship and from Washington. Washington says we were 5 degrees from capsizing, and Washington says we were only 3 degrees from capsizing. That was the Indian Ocean, the roughest part. Well, then from there on, I don't know how many days that is after. But they finally says, well, you're pulling into Fremantle, Australia. Pulled into Fremantle, then we went up to the Sydney Harbor. Meantime, aboard ship, I didn't tell you, we got our training. How to disassemble a 45 and put it together. How to disassemble a machine gun, put it together. That was my military training. Never issued a rifle until then. And then they gave us rifles. If anybody's familiar with rifles, it was an Enfield rifle. It was about 3 foot long. An English rifle. So we had to carry that and get into harbor, get off the ship. We got off the ship onto ferries, and they ferried us into Australia with all of our luggage. I can't even, it's in my book, which Bob will have. It's one hell of a carry. We get on there, we got on some trucks in Australia, went through the city, went to a little place called Randwick. Got off the truck and there it was, the Randwick racetrack. That was our home.
Now, how many days total now?
It was 39 days, and we call it the 40-40 day. It was 39 and, you know what I mean? Which we called it 40 days and 40 nights
From
at
leaving
Queen Mary.
Boston.
From when we left Boston till we got to Sydney. We called it 40 days. And when we got to Randwick, under the stands, big racetrack, and they said, well, this is your home. We were each given a bag, big, looked like a sack. They said, well, your mattress is over there, fill up this. We filled that up with this straw. They said, that's your bed. And they had it marked off. When you fill it up, lay it there, and them were our homes. So we were there for, I don't know how long we were there. Wasn't long, too, maybe 3 months. Australian food. Stinking, boiling mutton. I forgot to tell you, on a Queen Mary we had beautiful English food, fried and boiled kidneys. Half of the time across the damn waters. That's all they give us. English kidneys. And over here we got mutton, and you could smell it for miles away. Well, anyway, from there, some of us were taken up to Newcastle. Not my whole outfit. Just a small bunch of us. I don't know why the hell they sent us there. And there was a little runway. An occasional ship would come in. Occasionally. Not many. Just refuel it and go back to the bunk. I don't know how long we were there. Wasn't there very much. Then we went up to Mariba. And that was an air base. So that's where we were. Got our first airplanes. We were an Air Corps without an airplane. Beautiful. Didn't even have an airplane. Never saw one. We got to Mariba, finally got a couple. And our crews made a couple of missions, and we had a little radio in our camp, you know. You listen to it, and you did that Tokyo Rose, you know, she used to talk. And she used to call us on the Mariba butchers. Because our planes slaughtered them all the time, you know. Well, then from there, most of us went now. We're all in a group now in our squadron. From there, a bunch of us went to, this is Mariba. We went up to Charlieville. That's another runway we were working out of. And then from Charlieville, we went up. We had to get on a ship to go where we were going now. We had to go to Iron Range, which was the northern part of Australia, which is jungle. The only way you could get there at that time was by ship, by jungle. So we got there, and it was jungle. But the engineers already made a place to live. They made the aerodrome up there, you know. So we got up there. Naturally, it was so hot already. You cut off your sleeves or you work without a shirt, you cut here. And first thing you know, guys are starting to... Didn't realize mosquitoes. I blamed the outfit. They should have told us, keep your shirts on. No, oh, guys were just dropping. I believe that's where I got malaria, I'm not sure. But I did get malaria, I'll tell you later. But anyway, that's where we were. In Iron Range, we were operating out of there. That was right on the shore.
And what were you doing at that time?
At that time, I was mechanic in training. On-the-job training, you know. They did have mechanics when they came up to Maine, you know. They came from where the 43rd started in Virginia. They were already mechanics, you know, and the draftees were on the job. Well, anyway, you interrupted me. Where I was now?
You were with the malaria. And
Oh yeah, that's up in Iron Range. Well, you get hospitalized a little. That was my longest in there. That was for 10 days. Malaria was, I guess that's the worst. That's the one they mark off, you know. 10 days. And we were up there for a while. I don't know. I'd lie if I try to tell you how many days or how many months we were there because we moved. Well, from there, we went up. to New Guinea, Papua New Guinea. Up to New Guinea, we were up there quite a while. We went up to a few different, we call them towns up in New Guinea, in about 3 different spots. And that's when we changed over. We went to the Dutch East Indies, which one of the islands was Aui, and they were the makers of our malaria pill, what the hell ever it was. We couldn't get any more. So our scientists made for malaria Adabrine tablets. And Adabrine tablets were a preventive for and a cure for malaria. And we all look after months like Japs, I guess. Damn thing turned yellow from Adabrine. Everything, any kind of water, that Adabrine. Drinking water, Adabrine in it. Well, anyway, it's we're on that island still, only 2x4 we call it, 2 miles wide, 4 miles long, Aui Island. And then our ships we packed, and we were taken up, some by plane, some by ship, because it wasn't a long way. Maui Island, that's when we went to Leyte. That's the Philippines. Went to Leyte, got there. Leyte wasn't much. That was on the southern part of the Philippines. Leyte, part of Philippines. And we worked out there for quite a while. And when we worked, our bases were only a few that we operated from, but not where we operated to bomb out places, convoys, anything. You know what I mean now? These moves were just where you're stationed, where you work out of. You don't do your damage there. That's like they say, well, you're only on the, yes, but what did we bomb? There's nothing out there but islands, you know? You're in the Pacific, you're bombing islands. And the Japs were on every one. So you gotta knock them out of every one and keep moving up all the time. Well, we got to be in Leyte, and the war was going strong, I guess. We were moving like hell.
By this time now, did you have your 43rd Bomb Group now?
Oh, yes, it was
And
after.
Well,
right,
talk about what kind of planes they were.
First, we didn't have any. Then we got the Marine, but we've got the first ones, which were B-17s. And General Kenny used to complain, and Washington's reason was, the war in Europe is first. The planes had to go there first. And if they could spare a few, they would send them to the Pacific. And that's where we got what they couldn't get. So we had them until, we only had B-17s for about a year and a half, a year and 3/4, because our targets used to be too far away and they couldn't carry enough fuel. If they did fix them for fuel, instead of putting a bomb bay full of bombs, they had to only take a half a load of bombs, and they used to put in auxiliary tanks in the other half of the bomb bay. So you're going only with a half a load. So they decided, I guess, after 43, to change to B-24s. That's a big 4-engine job too, but it's a big twin tail. It's a terrible looking ship, not like they used to call that the Queen of the Skies, the B-17. That was the Queen of the Sky. This was a big, big glob, but rides smoother. Twin tail and all, you know. Well, anyway, we got the B-24s, and from there we went up to, from Leyte, we went up Clark Field in Manila. That is the big place up there. Today it's still a big Clark Field, I believe. And I want to mention one thing, very important to me. The last two ships going out to Leyte, there was like 23 men, and we would have been 25 in all of our luggage and whatever on that ship, and there was another ship going with it. I said to this guy with me, Vaughn something, I said, Vaughn, the ship is empty. I'm going to ask the pilot if we could sneak a ride with them. Instead of going, with a big bunch of, and there's that many men in a B-17, and it's crowded. The mechanics would jump in, and my buddy said, hey, kid, that engine's got oil on it. I said, I worked, now that's good. So a short trip. We get on it. We reached Manila. Went to get our luggage because that was on the first plane. We put it all on. We said, where'd they dump the luggage the first plane that come in? There's no plane come in yet. They said, hang around. Hang around a couple of hours. No plane. Went down, they said, come back in the morning, come back in the morning. No plane. This is wonderful. The plane never did come in. Never did come in with the 23 men. I was supposed to be on it. All right, now listen to this. This is going to get you. All right, now I wasn't much longer up there because that's where I was sent back. War was almost over. And they put me on a beautiful luxury ship to pull guard duty on the Noordam, another luxury ship like Queen Mary. She belonged to the Dutch, it was a cruise ship. So they said, you go on there. We get on there, what the hell is on there? Internees held by the Japs. Grubby people. Our job was to keep them. They had a section. And we had a lot of wounded GIs with us. Another part. This other part was the men that go home, like myself, on the numbers, And our job was, we were assigned spots. Keep them away from these, keep them away. That was our job. Coming home on the Normandy. So on the Normandy, we got on and we came across twice we crossed the equator. I forgot this. On the Indian Ocean, there was a, whatever you call them, they run you through
ceremony, yeah.
Yeah. And on the Pacific coming across, we crossed it again. Again, there was another one, Well, anyway, we came across there. Coming home, we had two destroyers escorting us across the Pacific. The Shaw and Renshaw, two destroyers, taking us home.
This is after the war?
War was still on.
Oh.
Well, oh yeah. I didn't get home until, when I got home, the war was over.
You never got to leave during this time?
No, I got one. I left this out. The flight crews get R&R time. After so many missions, they would send them back to Sydney, Australia to rest and relax for 2 weeks. Us ground men, well, out of them, I was there 3 years and something, I went on one, but not to Sydney, a little damn place in northern Australia, where sailors were too. That was a vacation for 2 weeks. Army and Navy. Well, anyway, that was my R&R there. Well, I left to come home on the Normandy. That's as far as I got right. We crossed the Pacific.
The international date line.
Yeah, we crossed that international date line. That's what the other one was too. And we stopped outside of Hawaii, just outside to take a look at it, I guess a couple of days. And so then we headed home. We headed home, and before we got home, they told us they were going to wake us up when the thing was in sight, the bridge.
The Golden Gate.
Gate. They said, when the Golden Gate, whatever time you will be, and they did. Oh, what a sight. Well, we went under the Golden Gate, and we went to Angel Island. That's where we got off. We got off there. They gave us uniforms, supposed to be new uniforms. You know, reissue us again. That issue was given to me. It wasn't new. Somebody else's uniform. Imagine. They give me a uniform to come home. It's on there, somebody else's name. Well, I didn't give a damn. I'm going home anyway. Well, we got all suited up there, and we took a ferry to Oakland, California. And from Oakland, I picked up a map. I think it's in there. And on the map, I opened it up when I got on the train. And every stop we made, I put an X coming right across country. And if you see a spot like that where there's no marks, that's where we stopped. You know what I mean? That's where we stopped. I did that all, I got it there. And we went, oh crap, we had so many guys from different parts of the country coming home. So naturally, we went Oakland, boy, we're going down to New Mexico, you're going this way, then you're heading up to another, I don't know how many miles we come cross country, but we did wind up coming from, I believe it was Cleveland, down to New York. And from New York, all the way to Westoverfield, Mass. That's where, and that was the shock of my life when I got there after 2 days. A corporal handed me the paper. He said, here. He said, report for duty down at the line, 7 o'clock in the morning. A report for duty. I'm waiting to go home. You know, they's already assigned me a job mechanic. I said to the corporal, I said, take me to the CO. He took me, he said, what's the problem? I said, I'm here waiting to get discharged, and this is not a discharge paper. I said, this is a work paper. He says to the corporal, take him back to where he was, will you? Take me back to my bunk. He says, he's waiting to go home. That was the shocker of my life. Yep. Then here I am. What else? Talking to Bob.
Well, I want to pick up on a couple of things.
Go ahead.
The story you told about the plane that never came in. Did
I
you
didn't
ever
finish
find
it.
out?
Yes, I didn't finish that. Yes. Now, here's the shocker part of that. I got discharged. I got married. Well, before, see, I left a little part out. Before they discharged me, they sent us to Atlantic City, rehabilitation. There was a hotel for GIs there was nothing going on at Atlantic City then. The GIs had one hotel and the officers in the other one. All you could do was walk the boardwalk, you know. But that was rehabilitation 2 weeks. Then I came to Westover. And when I got home, I got married. Well, I was married for about 9 months. I get a brown envelope. I opened it up. I said, what the hell is this? Philippines. Open it up. I take out a letter. Open it. Hello, Lucky. This buddy of mine worked in the orderly room. He says they found the ship. And this is what they found of yours. In there was a stack of burned pictures that they took out. They were of me, of my personal pictures, you know. He says, I knew that was you. He says, I'm sending these to you. They did find the ship. She hit a mountain. The ship hit a mountain.
Did anyone survive?
No, complete. Me and this kid that was on the other one that we didn't get on. The 23 got killed. And it's me and Vaughn.
And they found some of your personal belongings
Yes.
and sent them to you.
Yes. They brought them, you know, to the outfit. And this, I told you, I was good with most of the guys. And he says, that's what, hello, Lucky. Here's your pictures. And you know, Tony, I can't find them. I can't find them. And I says to my wife then, these I will never lose. With that letter. Hello, Lucky. No, you don't think I'm glad I'm here? Now this is, Bobby, this is not a fairy tale. This is the God's honest truth. And here I am.
So you ended up in several different places, in New Guinea,
Yep.
Leyte, Luzon.
Najab, all
Now, what? Tell something about the places that you were, and what were they all basically the same?
they were the same.
They're all the same.
They were the same. There was no place to go, nothing to do.
And
Until
your
you got-
job was to make sure that the ships were running effectively. Did you, when they came in?
Here's the way,
you were
let me explain that. When the ships come back from a mission, they have a log filled out by the pilot, which is how the ship ran, everything, and what should be looked at. That is posted. And the crew chief, first thing he looks for is the log. And then when he gets that, he says to us, there's 4 of us on the crew, he says, well, this is what we have to do. We either have to have a 25-hour, 50-hour, or 100-hour inspection, or a complete workover. So certain things had to be done for certain hours, you know. And he'd say, all right, this is what we have to do on here. This is the 50. And he would each give us a part of the engine, do it. That's it. Then I was, for a while there, I was assistant. Because one of them had an assistant. And I wasn't never there. And damn it, I was always extra duty doing something, but it's something good.
You mentioned that these craft a lot of times were pretty shot up, and crews
Oh, yes.
injured, and I'll talk about that a little bit. What was that like, waiting for these planes to come
Yeah,
in?
see, I don't know, you get the feeling when you work on a ship, it's a responsibility that you didn't realize. And I was one of these guys that, well, I'll do this and it's all right. Didn't really think about, I didn't think about what I was doing. I was never a military man, never a mechanic, never. It looks good enough. Then you got to thinking now. Jesus, these guys they got a lot of guts to go up in a ship like that. And one day the pilot come down to get his ship. Says to me, which engine did you work on? I said, number 3. How is it? I said, the plane, pre-flight good. Because sometimes I was assistant, I'd have to pre-flight, or if the crew chief wasn't there, I'd say, she pre-flight good on the ground. Real good, huh? I said, yeah. He said, well, you know what? You got to get in with us this time. We're going to give it a test. And when he gave it a test, I never mentioned this in all of this talk. We were a skip bombing squadron, which was the first one in the history of 4-engine airplanes in the Air Corps.
Explain skip bombing.
Huh?
Explain.
I will explain it. That's why I want to describe the plane, which is at that time, the biggest one they had. And General Kenny says that try a new system because the bomb sight they were using were maybe 75 to 1 hits. 75 misses out of 100. He said there's no accuracy. When you're bombing from 30,000, 20,000, what are you going to hit? So he says, we want to try what the smaller planes are doing. So your B-25s and your other dive bombers, whatever they call them. What a skip bomb is, you may be up 20,000 feet. Then when you sight your target, which is, we were a shipping crew now. In other words, we were going after ships. So the reconnaissance would say, well, at this certain section and all, there are ships. So you come in, and when you're miles away from the ships, then you lower your attitude. When they were in clear sight, your clear bomb sight and all, then you go full speed, 100 feet off the water. Let go with your bomb. Take off, and your bomb would go zing, zing, into the side of the ship. That is skip bombing, if anybody wants to know. Smaller ships, smaller planes do that. But they've never heard of it until General Kenny says, try it. You know what that did for General Kenny? You know who hated the Air Corps more than the Air Force more than anybody? General MacArthur. When he heard of this feat and another feat that General Kenny told him he wanted to transfer troops, MacArthur did, up the shore of New Guinea. He said, it's going to take us 2 weeks to get these troops on the ship up there. General Kenny said, yeah? He said, why don't you try my transportation? He said, use my planes. I'll take you there in 2 hours. 2 hours? 2 weeks? 2 hours? He did it. He made him a 4-star general. That is the way Kenny General Kenny got his stars for 4-star, and the most beloved part of MacArthur's military now is the Air Corps. He can't praise them enough. And that is the truth. It's in one of these books too. I read it in there too. But we knew that over there. Yep. But that is skip bombing. But when that guy took me up for a ride, a test, he went through that system, make him believe he's coming down, let go. And then when he goes like that, wow, and then you say, did I play? Did I fix it right? Did I fix it right? Oh.
So that wasn't an actual bombing mission you were on, but it was close to.
No. They wanted to try it.
Yeah.
They just wanted to try to see how she was going to work. She works all right. Yeah, we'll get in. Ooh.
Now, you mentioned earlier that there were a number of times when air raids, when you had Japanese planes coming over you. Talk a little bit about that. What was that like?
Well, really, I could put it this way. The first air raid that I told you, they had 104 or something planes come over. I wasn't scared. It was exciting. Because you'd get in a hole and you look up and you say, oh, wow. And these things come down, you think they're bombs, but they weren't bombs. They were the gas tanks that they were releasing, so they wouldn't have to carry them. But you look at them and you, wow. That was the first air raid. Now, air raids would continue, and it would be the same thing. Then it's at night, and you say, I could get killed. This isn't fun no more. I can't even defend myself. This is what, the longer you're there, the longer you think about yourself. It isn't no fun no more. I wish they would go. And we knew when it was a Jap because their airplanes sounded like washing machines to us. Engines weren't synchronized, and I think they were laughing at us because Iraq Act couldn't hit them. At that time they wouldn't reach. They're flying, they used to call them nuisance raid. Keep us up, 2, 3, 4 hours at night. Yep.
But they never hit anything.
No, they didn't. These are nuisance raids. The other one in Moresby that I told you, they knew we were there. They knew the outfits were there. But they never did try to pattern bomb again. They knew they couldn't. We had too many fighters up after them after. But when they did get in combat with our first fighter planes, we couldn't stand a chance with them. They could outmaneuver us and outdo everything to us until we later developed the Mustang, and then when we got the Corsair. Once we got the Corsair and Major Bong, story about him and McGuire, they used to race about who's getting the most. I think Bong wound up with 42 or 43, and McGuire got down 37. And they tried to ground Bong many times. No, R&R, he didn't want it. And you know where he got killed? After the war, he got a job testing planes. He got killed. Testing planes. Major Bong. Little guy, about 5 foot tall.
So you were on these islands for what, like three years?
No, you see, you can't keep track of time there. I would say, I wouldn't be guessing how many days or weeks or even months you spent in, not you can't stay there 1 day or 2 days. Because I only named, how many? Maybe I named 6 places. After Australia, about 6. So you're there for a while. You're there for a while.
But these weren't enemy. There were no enemy on the island that was the threat. In other words, did you have to have security at night?
No. The only security you have your regular watch.
Okay.
Just your regular watch, not from. We only had one. You would call it a warning. General Kenny stopped at our outfit one time, and he says intelligence has it that the Japs may drop paratroopers. But that was the only time during the war. They never did drop them. I guess our intelligence just wasn't. But he said just prepare for that. That's when you're scared. And that was the only time we were scared. The other time, what the hell, here they come again, Well, so what question? You got to ask me, see, you got to remind me of something.
Were there entertainers that ever came to your...
Oh, yeah, we had them, different kind.
Do you remember anybody in particular that, like the USO shows?
Oh, not big USO shows. Very few entertainers. Our biggest, Mrs. Roosevelt. She was there. How could I forget her?
So for entertainment...
No. I can't recall a big one. Our entertainment was movies.
Okay.
We had movies. I don't recall seeing a live entertainment there. And I'm not saying they're not there. I haven't seen them. Maybe mine was so early, but I didn't see any. I didn't see them. No, I can't recall seeing one. And I'm not criticizing. This fell off. I'm not criticizing them. This fell off.
Yeah, just clip that back on. It's all right. Anywhere. Talk a little bit about you just holding your hand is okay. Talk a little bit about the food. Did they feed you all right?
Food was horrible. I gotta admit, they were horrible. It's just...
Were they hot meals or were they
No,
just rations?
Well, they were rations. They were rations. And when they did cook something, what the hell could they cook? We had an Italian guy who would make spaghetti. That I got Morris Marighi from New Haven. But the food was awful. And then I even tell my kids sometime, when they complain, I said, look, they used to give us sometime bread with meat. But you want to take them little pieces of meat that wiggled and throw them out. I says, now that. But no, I got to say, the meals were horrible. Horrible. That I could never, I won't give them credit for that. I won't. But you won't hear me complain unless you ask me.
So, you also talked a little bit about, and I'd like to hear more about you had malaria and a few other things.
Dengue fever.
We'll talk about that. What happened?
Well, there's not a hell of a lot to talk. The only one that I do remember getting was what was it now? The one that turned me yellow jaundice. I recall that like it happened today. I'm waiting in line with my mess kit. I just dropped. Dropped. And the first thing they check, your eyes. Yellow. Jaundice. When they see that, it's jaundice. Because everybody's yellow. Remember I told you Atterburn? Everybody yellow Atterburn. But they look in there for somehow they see their eyes, you know. They said that's all he's got. And the other ones is just fever. And one is more than fever. breakbone.
The den.
Then, yeah, that breakbone fever, that one is, oh, everything hurts. You're sweating, you're burning.
Did you go to the hospital for those?
So we have a field, yeah. They put you, it's in there, on my discharge. For malaria is the most, they keep it 10 days, and the other ones, they keep you for 7 days, and that's it. I didn't tell you one was a good one. I was on the line with my crew. The big 2.5 ton comes along. Is anybody sick? Nope, we happen to be the first revetment, first plane. Nope. He went all around the revetments, the 10 or 12 revetments, and he come back, he said, anybody, by that time, oh boy, it's just, the truck is full. I said, no, I don't feel good. I'm thrown up. He said, get in. They drove that truck to the place we were staying. Oh, the guys were hanging on, puking. They were, what we have, ptomaine poisoning. They wondering, what in the hell did these guys eat? They found out from the kitchen. They made tuna fish with mayonnaise. Now we're in the tropics, 110, 120, no refrigeration. How many hours before did they make that? And we ate it. They took us to a field hospital, pretty big one. I mean tent, but it was a tent. What did they do? They gave us some kind of shot. They put a pitcher of water about that big, and they say, drink it. And just drink it. And when it's empty, we will fill it.
Okay, this is part 2. So talk about, tell us a little bit about the weather conditions, the rainy season, the heat.
Well, the heat. You say it's unbearable, but you've got to bear with it. You've got to stay there. You've got work to do. You can't say it's too hot. You got to. And, well, some of them pictures, well, they don't show it, but some of them, I'm blacker than the natives. I am darker than some of them. Because when I got home, that's what the guy that operated on this skin cancer, he said, that's from the tropics, and that don't always come out right away. See, I should have showed that to the veterans, He said, apparently that happened over there, but that's a bygone. Well, yeah, and the weather, that's something you just have to bear with. In fact, Bobby was so hot, you could bear with it, because you see that little cup up there? Read it. Read it. You think hot weather bothered me? Take it down, that little cup. Up there, the silver one. Read it. Could you read it? Could you read it?
No, I can't.
Well, my eyes are bad too.
Oh, you read it.
Oh, here. 1944. New Guinea Softball League. I'm proud of this. Leading batter, Louis Flash Miklos. Something on. You don't think I'm proud of that? You don't think I'm proud of that?
So you had a chance to play some softball.
Oh,
when you were there.
yes. And, see, I didn't tell you, when we were in Sydney for that, a month and a half, we didn't have no planes. They came over to our recreation tent. We had a nice recreation, well, it was a priest from Hartford Way and Lieutenant Alpy. they took care of our sports. They came over and they said, we would like for you to field a baseball team, this in Australia, to play an exhibition game to sell our bonds, war bonds. Lieutenant Alpy said, what, are they going to play in their pants? He said, no, we bring you uniforms. I gave my picture to one of my grandsons. They gave us baseball. This is hardball now. They gave us hardball uniforms. We went to the stadium, Sydney. We played an exhibition game of baseball for bonds for the Australians. And the only country never gave us any recognition for our blouse. Here we got it from the Philippines, we got it from everywhere. Australia gave us nothing. Yep. Yeah, and like I say, you move to two islands, they'd organize baseball. We play baseball. War isn't 24 hours a day. War is war when it comes. Recreation comes when it comes. Rain comes, rain goes. That's all. What are you going to do?
Oh, you mentioned rain. What about the rainy season?
That's the rainy. You just get rain and rain and rain. Rain. We had covers to cover the engine. You know, you get these big stands. You cover. You work on your engine. Yeah. Otherwise, Christ, I don't know how many years I had athlete's foot after I come home. Look at that damn feet were all wet. All wet. Oh yeah, it's heat. Well, I was black. You want to hear a funny instance? When I was in one of the hospital stays, the black reminded me of this. I'm in there, I don't know what the hell, for malaria or something. This nurse comes over. She said, you Filipino? No, me no Filipino. Well, I gotta wash you. I said, you wash me? Girl. But I only wash as far as possible. I wash up as far as possible. You wash possible. I thought that was the cutest thing. Did you? Listen to you wash possible. You Filipino. That'll live for me forever. You Filipino. That's how black I was. Honestly, I was black. And I had quite a few guys come to visit me, since I've been out, from all over the country. I had good friends in the service. I made some good friends. Well, sports will bring men together. And you get friends you never forget. And we won't forget each other for the war, but we forget our friendship too. I had some good friends right there. All them pictures there.
Well, we're gonna go around and look at some of the pictures. You can talk about some of your friends in a second, but let's go to you come home from the war. Explain coming home from the war. What was that like? After being away for such a long period of time, what was you? Do you remember?
I don't know. I really can't say that. To me, that was a big difference because I was with people I loved. I was where I wanted to be. What else could I say? It can't be any different. I didn't change. I'm the same person. I'm the same guy, but I never got paid in 3 years in American money. I never got paid in American money. 3 years. 3 years. Give you a bunch of cigarette coupons, that's what they look like. You watch a card game and you say, poor guys, you don't know what the hell you're playing poker? Not me. They're playing poker. What are you betting? 3 of these. They don't know what the hell they're betting. And they blow their pay in one night. But I don't know. But when I come home, it just, I don't know. I was home. Didn't take me long to get married because I was engaged before I went. And me and my wife wanted to do it before I went away, you know. We were going together for quite a while, and that's the ring she gave me, the engagement. Warrior head too. Wore out, look at sides, all wore off. That's the engagement ring she gave me.
Do you mention that you were in touch with some of the guys from the service?
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you been in touch with them
Well, at the reunion.
at the reunions?
Oh, yeah, they were the only ones I want to know, really, because
Yeah.
most of them, they're real guys that come to reunions. There's some that,
Now this was one. Hold that picture in front of you so I can take a picture of that. That was one of the reunions of your group. That looks like it may have been what? How many years ago?
oh,
Turn the picture toward the camera. More. Put it right in front of your chest. That's it. Just hold it there, right like that.
I couldn't even guess, Bob.
You don't.
I couldn't even guess. Even our pictures up there, I don't believe there's a date on any of the pictures. Take a quick glance. See if you can
No,
see it.
I could see you're in that picture. Don't move it, but right under the word bomb or above the word bomb, that is you in that picture. Is there any of your close friends in that picture, or they?
Yes, the one that I told you wrote the
Wrote the letter,
diary.
the diary.
The one, George Carter.
Okay, which one is that?
It's right here.
Okay, hold it back in front
The
of you.
red sweater. That's George Carter.
Okay. And is George still alive?
No, he died about 2 years now.
Okay.
He went from New Jersey.
All right, you can put that down now.
Yeah, see, this is the one that is from a different part of the squadron, you know, that I didn't work with. I didn't work with these guys. I worked with them guys in the other picture, you know.
I see.
But these guys wanted me to go with them. So I went with both of them.
Now, so you stayed in touch with the veteran. Did you join the VFW too?
No.
You never joined the VFW.
No, I didn't believe in them after.
Okay.
I don't believe in that stuff.
What today? How would you, if somebody asked you about your experiences and what you went through and so forth? What do you tell people about that experience that you went through?
Well, all I could say is, I won't say unless you ask me. Or I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's important to you. I don't know what's important to my neighbor. I don't know what he's interested in. If I tell him something, he say, what a bragger. This is the kind of guy, my feelings get hurt. Oh, what the hell are you bragging about? Well, don't criticize. Then keep your mouth shut, you don't get in trouble. I'm terrible that way. But I don't mean to be.
All right, this is part 3. Go ahead.
I could point to any part of it, right?
Yeah.
All right. This is the first Air Corps identification. This is when I came back to the States. Westover Field was the first Air Force. This is the mechanics symbol, airplane mechanics. This is the Presidential Unit citation with an oak leaf cluster, which is the most important ribbon on this blouse, and it is a permanent part of the uniform. These are my original dog tags, which I'm glad 2 came home instead of 1. Now these, which one was this now? Oh, this was the last ribbon I got from the Philippine government. 60 years later, it is a freedom medal from the Philippines. This is the Good Conduct Medal from the Air Force. This is the Good Conduct from the Army Air Corps. No. 4-engine job, and I was a mechanic on it. And this was called the Queen of the Skies. She's very, very popular. Very, very popular in the war. And we only changed over because it did not have the range needed. You want the other one now?
Yeah.
Okay. This one is the B-24, the Liberator bomber, which took over for the 17 because of its longer range, and bigger bomb load. Very smooth riding airplane, although the ugliest looking.
Okay, this picture that I'm looking at now is of you at what age?
21.
You're 21.
I just got to Australia.
And you just had gotten to Australia. So this is about 42?
42.
1942.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, can you explain what this is?
This is the Presidential Unit Citation given to the 43rd Bomb Group. They are Southwest Pacific Area, Battle of the Bismarck Sea, Huon Peninsula Campaign, Army Air Force in World War II, cited for it, Philippine Presidential Citation, and 2 Medal of Honor winners from the group.
And they are
J. Zimmer Jr. and Joseph R. Sarnowski.